Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this casual channel where we share and collect stories. I was tagged by the Ellen Made Book Club. Thank you so much for tagging me in this. One thing I will say about Ellen is she be turning out content. If you are interested in checking out her channel, I highly recommend, because she will always have a video coming out. Oh my god. And also she leaves the most mindful, the most sweet comments ever. I appreciate you so much. This tag was created by this channel called Back Away from the Donkey. I'm going to tag them below because we have to give credit where credit is due. I love when people have like really unique names on YouTube. It almost makes you think like maybe I should have spent like a few more seconds thinking about what my username would have been, because now it's just like my initials and then this last name that no one knows how to pronounce. Which, by the way, I realize like the RM, people may not even know my first name. My first name is Ruth. My last name is just the P is silent Seneca. Hi, my name is Ruth. The P is silent Seneca. I'm so excited to get into this because although I genuinely am going to disappoint in a lot of these questions because I just don't have an answer, I was excited to talk about films because I think that films are really, in a lot of cases, the gateway to creative thinking. Majority of us, I think, bond through films and get inspired by films. It is the gateway to like even being interested in like books, being interested in maybe like music. So many things start from films. So I'm so excited to talk about this because although this is a book channel, films are integral to a lot of storytelling, right? So yeah, we're gonna start off pretty weak because the first question I don't even remember. The first question is just, what is your first memory of seeing a film at the Pictures/Cinema? And I don't remember, which is really crazy because I grew up, outside of moving around a lot, I grew up born and adopted in Uganda, spending a couple years there, moving back and forth between the States and Rwanda. So I should remember my first time at the theater because I do distinctly remember that the movie theater was mostly an American experience. And so you'd think it'd stand out to me that much that I would just remember it, but I don't. I don't remember it at all. Gun to my head, what was the first film you ever saw? Done. Gone. Dead. I will say the first film I can ever remember watching, like I remember sitting down and watching in my living room on VHS, was The Little Mermaid. It just, I feel like, unlocked a lot of creativity and inspiration in my head, you know? Second, what is a book about film? It can be behind the scenes and autobiography, a work of fiction that includes film as a main subject. I don't have like any that are not just simply reaches. Ellen mentioned The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I think that's mine as well, except for, do memoirs count? Somebody just recently explained the difference between a memoir and an autobiography. I think autobiography is somebody else could write that about a living being, but then a memoir is like specifically you. So I don't know if memoirs count because it wasn't listed in the prompt, but a memoir could be like Finding Me by Viola Davis because she's a prominent actress that's been in a bunch of films, or like Alison Stoner's book. But yeah, I suppose The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Third, a novelization or a tie-in book. So even as I was looking at this, like through other people's tags and trying to like think of like any books that would work for me, I don't think I have any. We have a film about writers or writing. In my adulthood, I watched The Shining with my husband. That pretty much is the only one that I can think of that is kind of about a writer in his process. Or we can go Little Women, which is Jo March as a writer, but it's not like solely on her. So like solely on the writing journey, I guess. But it's a little bit of something. Oh my god, I really do want to, from a very casual lens, talk about Jo March because it's one of those where I wish in college I could have written in depth about Little Women because it was just so ahead of its time, I think. Jo March was so ahead of her time. Can we please acknowledge that? Oh my god. 5, a film that brings back fond memories. Oh my god. I really, when I was younger, loved the Aristocats. I grew up with 4 other siblings. I wonder if that surprises anybody. If you were to guess like how many siblings I had, do I give off like only child? Yeah. I grew up with 4 other siblings, and I think the sibling dynamic between the kittens and the shenanigans they get into and the like little soft quips that they have as a child, I think was just like heartwarming because it just reminds you of the dynamic of being in a family. If you don't know anything about the Aristocats, it's just a Disney cartoon about these cats that find themselves kind of kidnapped, right? And they have these cute little soft quips, and their mother and father are missing them, and just I think that's these two bad guys. Do they plan on taking them, or do they accidentally just end up in his bike? I can't remember. But I just remember that is a movie that I think if I turned it on today, I would just be feeling so much nostalgia and so much joy. So much joy. 6, a film that made you want to read the book. Crazy Rich Asians for real. I did not realize it was a book, I think, upon watching the movie. I was in college when that came out, and I watched it twice. I thought it was stunning. I thought it was fun, but also very challenging. The social commentary in it was something to grapple with. And when I found out it was a book, I was like, I'm reading that immediately. Wow. And it was really worth it. A book that made you want to watch the film. I recently read The Giver, and I found out that it was a film. And I will say, in looking it up, I don't think now I am as excited, but when I finished the book, I was like, oh, I gotta see if that's a film immediately. When I finished the book, I was like, oh, I have to figure out how good this film could be, because the book itself, life-changing on its own. Film could probably be that way, but then I saw some of the reviews, and it seems just to be one of those unfortunate films where somebody thought, let's turn this into a movie and let's make it a killer cast. Like Taylor Swift is one of the people that's in it. But I think it looks like it was poorly executed. I'll have to give it a chance. But from what I'm seeing, I don't know. Please, somebody make The Giver in 2026. Please. You can even keep the same cast. Just do it different. Okay, so 8. Films based on a book/story that bear no resemblance to the source. Listen, this bears some resemblance, but lacked enough structure-wise that I was disappointed. Killers of a Flower Moon. Okay, I've already gone on this rant before, but the way that the book reads, it is nonfiction, a story about the Osage Nation being the most wealthy nation in one of the Oklahoma areas, and they are slowly being killed off one by one. The way that the book was told left me, like, I was on the edge of my seat as I was reading, and I typically go into nonfiction assuming it's going to be boring. This was really well structured in a way that you don't know who's killing them off until the end, even though it's nonfiction. Like, it was structured like it was a fictional thriller. It was real life organized. I was so excited to watch the movie because I was like, oh, this is anything like the book. And then the movie comes out and you know who the killer is within the first like 30 minutes. And it's like, what is the point of this? And it's not to say that, oh, good, just because we have the who doesn't mean the rest of the story doesn't have value. But when you read the book, like, I really struggled to think that there are people that enjoyed the movie more than the book. I really struggle to think that. Which is, like, of course, commonplace, but come on. I just, like, it just could have been told in a much more engaging and exciting way, but who am I to critique Martin Scorsese? Last one that is my most exciting thing to talk about, recommending 5 films. I recently just watched a thriller with my husband that is essentially a modernization of Lord of the Flies. It's a ominous thriller called The Plague. And it was really good if you like psychological thrillers that are very clearly indie movies, you know? It follows a boy who goes into this water polo camp. No, like, stay with me, I'm sorry. This water polo camp. He has just moved from Boston or wherever the heck he came from. He's like 12. And he's trying to fit in with these other boys, and he's having a little bit of trouble because he feels empathy for this outcast who's been labeled with the plague. And the plague is kind of in the name, like he has like a plague, and you're trying to figure out like, what exactly is the plague? What's this big deal with this plague? Like, how did this boy get the plague? And so he's been ostracized from the other boys, but the main boy has a lot of empathy for him. And you're just kind of seeing that journey of their entire journey with the plague. Second movie is called Twinless. You might have heard about this because I feel like it's one of those indie movies that is mainstream like, you know, like I feel like I've heard enough people talking about Twinless to where I could bring it up in a group of people and one person would know what I'm talking about. I think it's mainly a thriller, psychological thriller, following this man who has an obsession with twins, forms a bond with a twin who recently lost his twin. Throughout the story, you're figuring out that one of these people has connection to the other, but it's not made obvious until you get a little bit more in the film. Second or third, Heretic. This one, if you are somebody that is comfortable with religious criticism and the stories of various religions, like, feel free to check this one out. It is also a thriller. Can you tell? God, I love thrillers. My book taste and my movie taste, basically the same. This is about two Mormon girls who are doing the rounds. They kind of get kidnapped in a way by this person who is very sadistic.
Okay, not only is he sadistic, he's essentially making the girls, as they're explaining Mormonism, because, you know, they're going around trying to promote Mormonism so that they can recruit people. He is essentially saying, convince me of your religion and I'll potentially let you keep your life. And they end up in his basement trying to get out pretty much the whole movie.
Okay, fourth, Straight Up. Also a film by the same guy who did Twinless. I think I just really like his films. I like the way that his brain works. This is I don't even know how to describe this movie. It's essentially a kind of comedy drama about this man who has OCD, is in denial that he's gay, but it's kind of not like everybody knows, as in like he's in denial and he's acting like he likes girls. He kind of knows that he's gay, but he's scared to be with men based on certain ideas that his OCD is feeding him, that it's not like safe for him. So he ends up being in this relationship with this woman who does not realize that he is gay, and she's kind of in denial of wanting to be with a man because she has her own sexual trauma. And they grow this really close friendship and bond because of what they're avoiding, but it is a real friendship. It just really is born out of a lot of avoidance. It's devastating, but so good. Triangle of Sadness. You probably heard about this one. People get stuck on a cruise. There are basically two different worlds on this cruise. The insanely mega rich, and then the people that are working class, that are working on the ship. And their stories that kind of unfold. I really can't get into much more because I feel like it has the build up. I feel like I'm gonna give away too much if I keep going. Like, I don't know. The people that I am tagging are gonna be Bonnie, Nicole. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for all of the comments that you have. I think you're one of the first people that actually ever commented on my channel. Check out Bonnie, Nicole. She's so thoughtful, and I like watching her videos because I always go away with one recommendation, especially as somebody who doesn't read a lot of classics. Classic expert. Lucy as well, Luce in the Library. Check out her channel. I love her style. I love the aesthetics of her channel. If you're interested in getting inspired visually, check her out. And then Sabrina. Sabrina is so cool. Everyone who watches her channel probably wants to be her bestie, because she gives such fun energy, and you just will not regret checking out her channel. I love channels that have just overt personality, but then also quality recs. Please recommend me a novelization or tie-in book, and I will see you in the next video, where I will leave off of the cliffhanger that I left you on the other one. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.